solid walls of Buckingham Palace appear to be crumbling under the weight of this royal drama. Princess Anne has exposed a secret so explosive that it has toppled Camilla's position within the monarchy. What exactly did Anne expose, and how did it lead to Camilla's downfall? The monarchy may never be the same again. Princess Anne's subtle snub to Queen Camilla. When it comes to the British royal family, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Even the smallest gestures, like a nod or a curtsy, can carry enormous weight and spark endless speculation. Recently, Princess Anne made headlines at a high-profile royal event when she chose to give Queen Camilla a polite nod instead of the traditional curtsy. While most people might see this as an insignificant moment, in the world of the monarchy, where protocol is everything, it was anything but. Anne's decision has sparked heated debates, with many interpreting this subtle move as a deliberate statement. Curtsying holds immense symbolic value in the royal family. It's not just about bending your knees, it's an act of respect and submission, a gesture that acknowledges the hierarchy of the monarchy. With King Charles III now on the throne and Camilla crowned as queen consort, the expectation was clear. All senior royals, including Anne, would honor Camilla with a curtsy. But Anne, known for her fierce dedication to tradition and her no-nonsense personality, had other ideas. Instead of bowing, she nodded and carried on, as though nothing had happened. To outsiders, this might have seemed unremarkable, but to royal insiders and watchers, it was nothing short of a mic drop moment. Anne's choice to nod instead of curtsy has been interpreted by many as a break in protocol, sparking speculation that this was no mere oversight, but a deliberate move. Was Anne making a subtle statement about her feelings toward Camilla's role as queen consort? Could this be a reflection of unresolved tensions within the royal family? For a family that thrives on appearances and tradition, such a gesture was bound to raise eyebrows, and it did. The timing of Anne's decision is particularly interesting, coming so soon after Camilla's coronation. Camilla's journey to becoming queen consort has been far from smooth. From her early days as a divisive figure in the Charles-Diana saga to her eventual acceptance by the public, Camilla's rise has been marked by controversy. For Anne, who has spent her entire life upholding the monarchy's traditions and values, this might have been a hard pill to swallow. Insiders have hinted that Anne has long been skeptical of Camilla, reportedly viewing her as opportunistic and questioning her place within the royal hierarchy. Anne's refusal to curtsy, then, could be seen as a quiet act of defiance, a way to express her disapproval without saying a word. Adding more fuel to the fire is the fact that this isn't Anne's first time making headlines for her strong adherence to royal protocol. Known as one of the hardest working royals, Anne has built her entire reputation on her unwavering dedication to duty and tradition. For her, every gesture matters, and her refusal to bow to Camilla feels anything but accidental. It seems to reflect her stance on how the monarchy should be run, and who should sit at the top. The public reaction to Anne's gesture has been as divided as you might expect. On one side, there are those who see Anne's nod as a quiet but powerful act of defiance. To them, it's Anne standing up for the monarchy's values and traditions, refusing to bow, literally or figuratively, to someone she doesn't believe has earned that level of respect. On the other side, critics argue that Anne's actions were petty and outdated, suggesting that the monarchy needs to move forward and adapt to modern times. Anne is stuck in the past, one commenter wrote on social media, while another argued she's defending the monarchy's legacy. Good for her. Tensions between Anne and Camilla. The British royal family is no stranger to drama, but the relationship between Princess Anne and Queen Camilla is one of the most layered and complicated sagas in royal history. At the heart of their tension lies a shared connection to one man, Andrew Parker Bowles. Decades later, the tangled history of romance, protocol, and royal hierarchy still casts a shadow over their interactions, creating a dynamic laced with awkwardness and unresolved feelings. To truly understand why Anne and Camilla's relationship is so frosty, we need to rewind to the 1970s, a time when Princess Anne was romantically involved with Andrew Parker Bowles. Andrew, a dashing cavalry officer and a fixture in royal circles, was the kind of man who turned heads wherever he went. Anne and Andrew's romance was reportedly intense, but it was doomed from the start. As a Roman Catholic, Andrew was ineligible to marry Anne, a member of the Church of England, due to royal protocol at the time. Their relationship fizzled out, but they reportedly remained close friends. Enter Camilla Shand, later Parker Bowles. Around the same time Anne was seeing Andrew, Camilla was starting her own flirtation with then Prince Charles. This infamous love triangle became a defining moment in royal history. Charles and Camilla's connection deepened, but their relationship didn't progress as Charles was sent off for naval duties. Meanwhile, Camilla and Andrew began dating seriously, and in 1973, they tied the knot in a grand ceremony attended by much of the royal family, including Princess Anne. For Anne, watching Andrew marry Camilla must have been at least a little awkward. Andrew was someone she had been deeply fond of, and now he was marrying another woman who would later become a central figure in the royal family. While Anne has always been known for her stoic demeanor, it's hard not to wonder if some lingering tension remained as their lives continued to intersect in increasingly complex ways. But the story doesn't end there. Decades later, Camilla's rise from royal outsider to queen consort added another layer of complexity to her relationship with Anne. For years, Anne reportedly viewed Camilla as opportunistic, someone who maneuvered her way into Charles's life and, ultimately, into the royal family. This skepticism wasn't entirely unique to Anne. Camilla's journey to acceptance within the monarchy was fraught with controversy and public scrutiny, especially given her role in the breakdown of Charles's marriage to Princess Diana. Anne, however, has always been a staunch defender of tradition and duty, someone who values hard work and dedication to the monarchy above all else. Camilla's path, marked by scandal and personal drama, may have clashed with Anne's deeply ingrained sense of royal responsibility. This difference in values likely contributed to the frosty dynamic between the two women, particularly as Camilla began taking on a more prominent role within the family. Adding to the tension is Anne's close relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles, which has endured over the years. Despite their romantic history, Anne and Andrew have remained on good terms, with Andrew even serving as the godfather to Anne's daughter, Zara Tyndall. This enduring bond might have been difficult for Camilla to navigate, especially as Anne has a reputation for being blunt and at times intimidating. Camilla's feelings toward Anne have long been described as a mix of respect and unease. Royal insiders have hinted that Camilla has felt intimidated by Anne, whose no-nonsense personality and unwavering loyalty to the monarchy can be daunting. For years, it was reported that Camilla struggled to find her footing in a family where Anne's approval carried significant weight. The tension between the two women was further highlighted during key royal milestones, including Camilla's marriage to Charles in 2005. Anne, along with other senior royals, reportedly kept her distance, with body language experts noting the chilly atmosphere in public appearances. While Anne has always maintained a professional front, her cool demeanor toward Camilla has been hard to ignore, fueling speculation about the depth of their personal animosity. There are, of course, moments of progress. Over time, as Camilla has cemented her role within the royal family, there have been signs of mutual understanding, at least when it comes to their shared dedication to supporting the monarchy. Recent reports suggest that the two women have found a way to coexist, focusing on their responsibilities rather than their personal differences. However, the emotional distance between them is unlikely to ever fully disappear. Camilla's coronation arrangements and Anne's reaction royal events are always carefully choreographed affairs, steeped in centuries of tradition and symbolism. So, when Queen Camilla's coronation arrangements deviated from the norm, it didn't go unnoticed, especially by Princess Anne. Known for her lifelong dedication to royal protocol, Anne reportedly wasn't too thrilled with the unconventional choices Camilla made for her big day. The tension between these two senior royals, already the subject of speculation, seemed to bubble to the surface yet again, proving that even the monarchy isn't immune to family drama. At the heart of the controversy was Camilla's decision to include her own family members in prominent roles during the coronation. Her grandchildren, for example, were given the honor of holding the canopy during the anointing ceremony, an incredibly symbolic and sacred moment. For many, this was a refreshing move, signaling a more modern and inclusive monarchy. But for Anne, this break from tradition may have felt like a step too far. Historically, such roles have been reserved for members of the royal family, emphasizing the institution's unity and continuity. By including her own family, Camilla was seen by some as prioritizing personal connections over the sanctity of royal customs, a move that reportedly didn't sit well with Anne. Anne has always been a staunch defender of tradition, the kind of royal who believes that the institution must come before personal interests. Her life has been defined by service, discipline, and an unshakable commitment to upholding the monarchy's legacy. So, when Camilla's coronation arrangements seemed to veer off course, it's no surprise that Anne may have felt frustrated. Insiders have suggested that Anne viewed these decisions as a breach of royal protocol, a departure from the values she has spent her entire life defending. This isn't the first time Anne's dedication to tradition has clashed with Camilla's more modern approach to royal life. Camilla's journey to queen consort has been anything but conventional. From her controversial relationship with King Charles to her struggle for public acceptance, she has always been somewhat of an outsider in royal circles. For Anne, who was born into the institution and has spent decades working tirelessly on its behalf, Camilla's rise to one of the monarchy's most significant roles likely came with mixed feelings. It's not hard to imagine Anne questioning whether Camilla's path to the crown aligns with the values the monarchy has long upheld. The public reaction to the coronation arrangements was just as divided as the royal family itself seems to be. Some praised Camilla for including her grandchildren, seeing it as a heartwarming gesture that brought a personal touch to an otherwise formal occasion. Others, however, sided with Anne's reported disapproval, arguing that the monarchy should prioritize tradition over individual preferences. On social media, debates raged over whether Camilla's choices represented progress or a lack of respect for the institution. Anne's reaction to the coronation arrangements wasn't overt. She didn't publicly criticize Camilla or make any grand statements, but her body language and demeanor during the event spoke volumes. Observers noted that Anne appeared distant, even cold, throughout the ceremony, fueling speculation that she was less than impressed with how things were handled. For someone as disciplined and professional as Anne, such subtle signs can carry significant meaning. Ultimately, the tension surrounding Camilla's coronation arrangements is about more than just who held the canopy or participated in the ceremony. It's a reflection of the ongoing struggle within the monarchy to balance tradition with modernization. For Anne, who has spent her life upholding the old ways, any deviation from protocol can feel like a threat to the institution she holds so dear. For Camilla, however, these changes may represent an opportunity to make the monarchy more relatable and inclusive. The precedence of royal protocol and Anne's influence. Anne has always been a staunch defender of protocol. One of her most significant contributions to royal rules came in 2005, when Queen Elizabeth II approved a formal protocol called the Precedence of the Royal Family. This set of rules, which placed princesses born into the royal family above women who married in, like Camilla, was reportedly pushed for by none other than Anne herself. And in true Anne fashion, she made it clear that she wasn't about to bend the knee, or curtsy, in this case, to Camilla. To understand the significance of this, you have to look at the royal hierarchy. Protocol dictates how members of the royal family interact with one another, particularly in public. It's a rigid system that reinforces rank and respect, and curtsying is one of the most visible ways to demonstrate it. Before 2005, the rules surrounding curtsying were a little murky, especially when it came to women who married into the family. Camilla, who tied the knot with then Prince Charles in 2005, found herself in a precarious position. As a new royal, she was technically outranked by women like Princess Anne and Princess Alexandra, who were born into the family, and Anne, never one to shy away from defending tradition, made sure this was formally recognized. The precedence of the royal family essentially cemented the idea that blood royalty took precedence over those who married in, no matter how high their title. This meant that Anne, as the daughter of the Queen, would outrank Camilla, even after Camilla became the Duchess of Cornwall. And, perhaps most tellingly, it meant Anne had no obligation to curtsy to her. According to reports, Anne was vocal about her stance, making it abundantly clear that she wasn't about to bow to Camilla. At the time, Camilla was still struggling to win over the public, and Anne's firm stance only added another layer of tension to their already complicated relationship. Anne's push for this protocol wasn't just about her personal feelings toward Camilla. It was about safeguarding the traditions of the monarchy. Anne has always been deeply protective of the institution, believing that its strength lies in its adherence to history and hierarchy. For her, the idea of curtsying to someone who married into the family, and who had a complicated history with the royals no less, may have felt like a betrayal of the values she holds dear. Camilla's position in the family was already a sensitive topic. Her relationship with Charles had been the subject of scandal for years, and her marriage to him marked a turning point in royal history. Many viewed her as an outsider who had disrupted the royal family's image, and Anne's reported reluctance to accept her reflected a broader sentiment within the family. While some members were willing to embrace Camilla's new role, Anne remained steadfast in her commitment to protocol. Over the years, Anne's stance on curtsying, and on Camilla more broadly, has sparked plenty of debate. Some have praised Anne for defending the monarchy's traditions, arguing that her refusal to curtsy was a principled stand against the erosion of royal values. Others, however, have criticized her for being rigid and unwilling to adapt to the realities of a modern monarchy. After all, Camilla's role as queen consort today was unthinkable back in 2005, and her public image has undergone a significant transformation since then. Still, for Anne, it's never been about public opinion. Her actions have always been guided by her unwavering commitment to the crown. She doesn't bow to trends or popularity contests, she bows to tradition. And while her refusal to curtsy to Camilla may seem like a small gesture, it's one that encapsulates her entire approach to royal life. Today, the relationship between Anne and Camilla appears more cordial, at least on the surface. Both women have found ways to work together in support of the monarchy, and their shared dedication to duty has likely helped bridge some of the gaps between them. But the precedents of the royal family remain a testament to Anne's influence and her determination to protect the traditions that have defined the monarchy for centuries. In a family where every gesture is scrutinized, Anne's refusal to curtsy to Camilla isn't just about rank, it's about what she believes the monarchy should stand for. And in a modern world where the royal family is constantly evolving, Anne's commitment to tradition serves as a reminder of the delicate balance the monarchy must strike between honoring its past and embracing its future. Anne and Camilla's evolving relationship. To say Anne and Camilla's relationship got off to a rocky start would be an understatement. Their connection was complicated from the beginning, driven in part by shared history with Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's first husband and Anne's former flame. Add to that Anne's legendary dedication to tradition and protocol, and Camilla's rise as queen consort after years of public controversy, and you've got a recipe for tension. For years, Anne reportedly viewed Camilla as an outsider, someone who hadn't earned her place in the royal hierarchy. Camilla, on the other hand, was said to feel intimidated by Anne's blunt and no-nonsense personality. But according to insiders, the two women have found a way to work together, largely out of necessity. King Charles III's reign has brought new challenges for the monarchy, and both Anne and Camilla are key players in his vision for a slimmed-down, more modern royal family. Together with Prince William, Princess Catherine, and a handful of other senior royals, they make up what's been described as Charles's elite squad. This group is tasked with upholding the monarchy's public image and ensuring its survival in an ever-changing world. For Anne and Camilla, this means putting their differences aside and focusing on their shared duties. Anne, the hardest-working royal and a lifelong defender of tradition, has reportedly found common ground with Camilla in their mutual commitment to supporting King Charles and the institution he now leads. Camilla, who has worked hard to carve out her role as queen consort, has earned praise for her steady approach to royal life, even winning over some of her former critics. While this collaboration has brought them closer professionally, it's clear that some emotional distance remains. Anne and Camilla are both deeply private individuals, and their relationship seems to be more about mutual respect than personal warmth. They've managed to find a balance, working side by side to keep the monarchy afloat in an era of intense public scrutiny. But don't expect to see them sharing heartfelt moments in public anytime soon. The tension between them isn't entirely erased, and for good reason. Anne, who has dedicated her life to upholding royal protocol, has always been skeptical of Camilla's unconventional path to the throne. Camilla's rise from royal mistress to queen consort wasn't exactly traditional, and Anne, who values service and duty above all else, likely still harbors some reservations. That being said, there have been moments of levity between the two women, offering a glimpse of their evolving dynamic. One memorable occasion came on Christmas Day in 2019, when both Anne and Camilla attended the royal family's annual church service wearing matching purple outfits. Camilla reportedly nudged Anne with her elbow and pointed out their accidental twinning, prompting a rare laugh between the two. It was a small moment, but one that showed they're capable of sharing a lighter side, even if only occasionally. While their relationship has come a long way, it's unlikely Anne and Camilla will ever be best friends. Their personalities, histories, and values are simply too different. But in a family where duty always comes first, they've found a way to coexist and collaborate. Both women understand the importance of presenting a united front, especially during a time when the monarchy is facing increasing scrutiny. At the end of the day, Anne and Camilla are two very different women, united by their roles in one of the world's most famous institutions. They don't have to like each other, but they do have to work together, and for now, they seem to have figured out how to do just that. Anne's role in modernizing royal norms. Princess Anne is often seen as the ultimate traditionalist in the British royal family. But what many people don't realize is that Anne has also been a quiet trailblazer, breaking royal norms in ways that have helped modernize the institution. In fact, some of her bold moves indirectly paved the way for others, like Queen Camilla and King Charles III, to rewrite their own royal stories. Anne's most groundbreaking moment came in the early 1990s when she became the first senior royal to divorce and remarry. At the time, this was a shocking move for a family that prided itself on projecting a morally upright image. Divorce was still taboo in royal circles, and the idea of a divorced royal remarrying was practically unheard of. But Anne, true to her independent spirit, didn't let tradition stand in her way. After ending her marriage to Captain Mark Phillips in 1992, she wasted no time marrying her longtime love, Timothy Lawrence, later that same year. This decision was a game changer. Anne's remarriage set a precedent that would ripple through the royal family for years to come. It showed that even the most traditional institution in the world could adapt to modern realities, and while Anne's move was initially met with raised eyebrows, it ultimately helped normalize the idea of divorce and remarriage within the monarchy. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and Anne's trailblazing actions were indirectly benefiting her brother Charles and his then partner, Camilla Parker Bowles. Charles and Camilla's relationship had been one of the most controversial sagas in royal history. Their affair during Charles's marriage to Princess Diana had scandalized the nation, and Camilla's public image was in tatters. But after Charles's divorce from Diana and her tragic death, the couple slowly began to rebuild their reputations. When Charles and Camilla finally tied the knot in 2005, it was a moment that would have been unthinkable just a decade earlier. A future king marrying a divorced woman? It was a major break from tradition. But Anne's earlier decision to remarry had already softened the ground, making it easier for Charles and Camilla to take this step. Without Anne's precedent, their union might have faced even greater resistance from both the public and the palace. What's fascinating about Anne is that she managed managed to modernize the monarchy without ever abandoning her commitment to tradition. She's always been deeply loyal to the crown, and her actions have never felt like rebellion for rebellion's sake. Instead, Anne's choices have been pragmatic, reflecting her belief that the monarchy must evolve to survive. Take her approach to her own divorce, for example. Unlike the messy and highly publicized split between Charles and Diana, Anne's separation from Mark Phillips was handled with quiet dignity. There were no explosive interviews, no public airing of grievances. Anne simply got on with it, proving that even a royal divorce could be conducted with grace. This balance between tradition and progress is what makes Anne such a fascinating figure. She's not someone you'd expect to be a trailblazer. She's famously private, fiercely dedicated to protocol, and deeply rooted in the old ways of the monarchy. And yet, time and again, she's made choices that have pushed the royal family forward. In many ways, Anne's ability to modernize while staying true to tradition is a blueprint for the monarchy's future. She's shown that it's possible to adapt without losing sight of what makes the institution unique. And while she may not always get the credit she deserves, there's no denying that Anne's trailblazing moves have left a lasting impact on the royal family.